What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. It's gel test time. 357 Magnum gel test time. We're going to be using two firearms today. The first one is going to be the Ruger GP100, and that's a 4-inch. Awesome little revolver. We're also going to be using the Ruger SP101 hammerless, another 357 Magnum. Awesome little revolver. Gutter sights on this guy, but it's made to be kept in your pocket or tight concealment. So the big deal here is this is a 2-inch barrel, as with the other one is a 4-inch barrel. We're going to run some Hornady Custom 357 Mag 158 grain XTP, and that has a muzzle velocity of 1250 advertised. We're going to be putting that up against the Speer Gold Dot 357 Mag 125 grain Gold Dot hollow point. I'm not sure what this is rated at. It doesn't say on the box. It's an older box. Now the reason I'm going with this specific combination is because everybody pretty much knows the XTP. And everybody pretty much knows the Gold Dot. These go head to head all the time in different loadings, whether it's hand loadings or factory loadings, but they're both very good rounds. What I have found personally, that the XTP tends to lose a little bit of its mass, kind of comes a little bit ununiformed as far as its expansion. The Gold Dots seem to have a very uniform expansion. They don't seem to lose any mass or much mass at all. And penetration wise, sometimes the Gold Dot does seem to get better penetration. So we do have two different weights, sorry about that, but in this situation that we all know we're going through with ammo, I can't pick and choose. This is actually just old stock, but I thought it's a good comparison. And let's see what they do out of the different barrel lengths, because that's a big deal. Not all of us are going to carry around a 4-inch revolver, and I'll tell you what, they test a lot of this stuff out of 6-inch revolvers. So a carry revolver most likely will be 2 inches. Let's see how these perform. Let me correct myself. Your snubby carry revolvers that you're going to hide and conceal deeply are most likely going to be 2-inch. You can carry a 6-inch if you want, and some people carry 3 inches. 4-inch guns, but that's more of an open carry situation, not necessarily the tuck it away hammerless type. Alright, so I'm going to attempt to run these shots through the chronograph and through the gel. Why do I do it like that? Well, A, to save bullets. I don't believe in, personally, getting a 5-shot average or whatever and then putting one into gel. It just doesn't make sense to me personally. I'm not saying it's wrong. I don't understand it. I would rather just, if you want a 5-shot average for velocity, go ahead and get that if that means something to you. But as far as the bullet that you're going to put into gel, why don't we chronograph the bullet that actually goes into the gel? That way we know the exact speed of the bullet, at least with the chronograph being 5 feet off the gel, and I'm 5 feet off the chronograph. So I'm 10 feet off the gel, and we know the exact velocity halfway in between me and the gel. So hopefully the chronograph actually works after saying all that, because we're in the evening sun and sometimes it doesn't. But I'm going to start with the XTP. Like I said, we're 10 feet off the gel. I have 3 pieces of cardboard in between two 20-inch gel blocks. Just because sometimes we get a little bounce back, and I'm kind of wanting to see what will happen if there's just anything in between the gel to create a barrier for bounce back. Well, we have a definite error on the chronograph, and we have a definite error in my shooting. So I forgot that this thing shoots a little bit high. Let me try that again. I promise I'll try to do better. Chronograph is not going to work for us today. I'll try to take the sun shields off of it and get a reading a little bit later, but for now it's not going to work. However, our bullet did work. So our entrance wound is right there. Very nice. Went all the way down through 20 inches and then had a minor bounce back. You can see the bullet stuck in that cardboard. That's pretty cool. That's exactly what I wanted that cardboard to do. There's that projectile. It actually looks pretty nice for an XTP. So I would say 21 inches and 3 pieces of cardboard with no bounce back. Here's a view from the side. Pretty decent wound channel. The penetration is definitely key right there. And that's because this thing doesn't pedal back too crazy. It stays kind of like a wad cutter, almost pushing through. It really doesn't have a huge flat surface, in my opinion. So for today's test, please omit anything that I've said about the chronograph, as it's now irrelevant because of the sun, so I'm just taking it away. So now we have the same round, the Hornady XTP, except for now it's going to be coming out of a 4-inch barrel. Here is our entrance, a little bit lower, right here. And as you can see, it did almost the same thing as the one above it. It just did it about an inch farther. So that bullet is sticking right there. It got to about the same distance. I can pluck it out of there. There is that bullet. So the 2 inches on the left, the 4 inches on the right. I'd say they both made it to the same distance. Just one bounced back into the cardboard a little bit and the other one stayed in the second block, but that's a 20-inch block. Basically an identical wound channel. So that's pretty cool. All right, so now we've got the Speer Gold Dot. Let's see how this one does. I kind of think that this one might be a winner as far as pretty bullet and expansion, but I'm not sure about wound channel. They usually have a nice wound channel in all the semi-automatic calibers. Let's see how they do with the revolver caliber. So there's our entrance, and there's our wound. So I would say it has less of a wound channel than the XTP, and it did not go as far. It stopped right there. Let me get the tape out. So there it is right there. And I would say it made it no farther than 15 inches right there, and then bounced back to 14. Now, I don't know what you guys think at home, but I think that was really interesting results. The XTP was very impressive out of both barrels, the 2-inch and the 4-inch. The Gold Dot seemed to fall short, in my opinion, for what a Gold Dot typically does in the 2-inch revolver barrel. Let's see what it does with the 4-inch GP100. All right, so interestingly enough, here we have the entrance from the 4-inch, and here's the entrance from the 2-inch. If you follow them down, the 4-inch is right there, the 2-inch is right here. The 2-inch bullet made it to 13.5 or 14 inches after going to 15 inches, but the 4-inch barrel only made it to 13 inches, period. No bounce back, it's just a flat 13. That's really interesting. Let's try that again. I think it has a bigger initial wound cavity, but let's try that one more time. All right, we're gonna try that one more time because that's just very odd. All right, so here's the entrance. It's the middle of the 3, and it's kind of hard to see because it's kind of down. But if you look, there's where that one ended up. I'll show it from the top. These two are right next to each other. Those both came out of the 4-inch. That was the first one, that was the second one we just shot. And they are just not making it far. Nice initial entries, but interesting. Now that does fall to, you know, within at least 12 inches, which supposedly 12 inches is the minimum from what I understand. So it got to right at the minimum, but actually very disappointed in the performance as far as penetration with the gold dot, especially out of a 4-inch revolver. But we'll get them cut out of there and we'll see what they look like. And we're going to try to chronograph these things when the sun gets a little bit better. So what do you guys think about that? That's been a really interesting test. I didn't expect that. However, I probably should have, knowing that the Speer opens up as much as it does. I think that's just what it is. It probably has a little bit more of an energy dump, and then it opens up more. I still have to get the chronograph to work for it so I can get you the velocities. So I can't even speak on the velocities at the moment, but we'll all have it figured out by the end of the video. Let me know in the comments what you think about this, if you've had a different experience. That is a pretty old box of gold dot. Maybe they've improved it now for 357. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll get a box of new stuff if I see it on the shelf. However, I don't think I've seen it recently, along with a lot of other things we haven't seen recently. So I want to show you something we're going to do for the next video before I close out this video. So I do my gun and ammo shopping at some pretty cool places, and I know some pretty cool people, and sometimes they save me some pretty cool things. I found something that's really interesting. So this is a company called USAC, and at one point in time, I believe in the early 80s, they made this. It's a 38 special in a reloadable cartridge, and you think, okay, well 38's always reloadable, but this is different. This is a polymer, or back then it would have been a plastic shell. Now we know that our military is using 308 polymer cases, but back in the day they had plastic cases that they were experimenting with. Now this company went bankrupt from what I understand pretty quickly. This never really caught on. This was supposed to be an economical way to reload 38 special, which at the time a lot of people were using. Supposedly, now in the price scheme of about the early 80s, you were supposed to be able to reload these for about $2.50 a box. Now the key is that you can't load them or reload them with just any projectile. You have to use special projectiles that kind of lock back in to this plastic case. You don't need a real press. You needed a little tiny loading tool. I don't have that loading tool, but I'm sure we're gonna get it figured out. We're about to do a gel test and some chronograph testing and some just testing in general and try to reload some of this stuff, see if we can get it to happen. That'll be in the next video. Don't miss it. Hit subscribe if you're not already subscribed. We do a lot of different things. Gun reviews, bullet ammo reviews, old odd things, unconventional testing, sometimes opinions, sometimes news. But you should check it out. Hit subscribe, hit the bell so you see the notifications when we do drop a video. Thank you for watching this video, and we hope to see you at the next one. In the meantime, stay safe, have fun, and keep shooting. Okay, we're gonna try to see if we got the right light conditions to do an XTP through the chronograph with the 4-inch Ruger GP100. It says 1316. Now let's try the same XTP out of the 2-inch SP101. $12.24. Now we have the gold dot out of the 4-inch, and this is what's going to be interesting because the gold dot is the one that went the least penetrative. $15.32. And unfortunately, I'm sorry, but I don't have another gold dot to put through the 2-inch. I thought I had more, but I don't. That's it for that. But we have a higher velocity. I think the higher velocity creating the more expansion, and then the bullet technology of the bonding of the gold dot makes it stop quicker. It does have a little bit more disruption. I think we're going to see that once we slow it down in gel. But there's some of the numbers. Sorry, I'm missing one of them. So in order that they were shot, the 2 XTPs and the 3 gold dots. That was out of the shorty, and then the 2 out of the 4-inch. Weight retention on the first Hornady is 153.7. On the second Hornady, we're looking at about 151.9. On the first gold dot, we're at about 130.3. The next gold dot is 130. And the last gold dot, 129.8. So I have to do this one-handed. I don't have camera guy with me, but about 4.6, about 0.50, the shorter barrel gold dot 0.57, 0.56, the longer barreled gold dot about 0.66, 0.65. This one's a little bit more irregular. We got 0.70. I think I can stretch it out to 0.68.